Hi there, Rabbi. Our topic for today concerns the Shoah, which is the annual commemoration of the Holocaust. And you had some thoughts about this.
We we want to observe Yom HaShoah. However, not just 6 million Jews, millions of Poles, Russians, other individuals were murdered or put in concentration camps. The idea being we want the 6 million Jews that were murdered to be a lighthouse, a lamp, to get us to focus on what happens or what did happen in Germany when an individual and his political party and the government, let's not make any mistake, Hitler was elected. He had the support of the government. One political party had the majority and they supported Hitler. So don't think that he did this all by himself. Mm-mm. And he did it by baby stepping, Joe. He did something and then watched what the public said. And then, well, nobody objected to attacking Jewish stores and breaking the windows. Or no one objected when he invaded another little piece of land. And so Hitler began this process of shutting down all the opposition. And I want the Shoah, this observance, to remind us of the dangers.
In addition to the Jewish culture, um, most people don't remember or recall or even know that gypsies were
Right.
targeted in the Holocaust. And gay people were also victims put into concentration camps. So he was just looking for anybody to blame, and that the modern society felt threatened by.
But it wasn't just how he blamed. Once he did that, he started shutting off the opposition. Catholic priests were and nuns were sent to the camps and murdered. He attacked the Pope. So Hitler started looking for anyone that would object. He closed down newspapers. He revoked the licenses of the radio and TV stations. He did everything he could to stop the word from getting out. He murdered untold millions of Soviets, Russians, as I mentioned, Poles. You mentioned the entire Gypsy population. He emptied hospitals. He stopped medical care for uh, mental illness and other physical problems. And it was a very slow, gradual process. And it kept the number of people left to object kept shrinking. And he went as started slow and then carried out the Gestapo wearing masks, stopping people at train stations, asking them for their papers. And didn't matter if they were even good. If they were Poles, they would get murdered at a train station. It was a, an organized process of blaming Jews for their problems, then getting rid of the opposition. And that's why the Holocaust observance is so important. We must stand up and not let it happen again, not just for Jews, not just for Kurds, not just for any particular group of people, but the idea that a legitimate government can villainize a group and then stop the opposition. You know, Hitler organized the destruction of the Roman Catholic Church and declared war on the Pope. And the Pope was trying to save his nuns and priests, never mind trying to save Jews. And the reason they were attacked is because the priests would falsify the baptismal records. So Jewish children, people that wanted to save their Jewish children, went to the Catholic priests and they put in the documentation that they had been baptized Roman Catholic. And the families gave up their children to the nuns. And once the Gestapo figured this out, they started murdering and killing the nuns and priests. So it wasn't This isn't just about 6 million. We want the 6 million to be um, the example of what happened when this goes rampant. We also want to see that Yom HaShoah is to observe murder, massacre, genocide, and the silencing of the opposition by closing the newspapers, by taking away the licenses of radio stations, and getting rid of a lot of the uh, Protestant ministers very quietly murdered, taken off to the camps, closed down. And it started slowly, and then it just kept coming in until there was no one left to object. And your only choice was to either be silent or join the process.
And the Nazi strategy was always to focus on the bad guys, the worst parts of the population. We're going to get rid of all these evil men who are robbing you, cheating you, stealing you, undermining society. They're criminals, they're rapists, they're thieves, they're poisoning our society, and they need to be eliminated in order for us to be safe. And remember what Benjamin Franklin said about giving up your freedom for safety.
And then it was a very short step to clean out the hospitals and just point out that individuals who had emotional or mental problems, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just taking our money away. And then once those hospitals were closed, you start going after other hospitals, people who are handicapped or have any type of disability. Hitler murdered them, sent them off to the camps, and closed the hospitals. And so you're absolutely right, Joe. It was an organized process. And we can take the 6 million. You know, if you stood up for 1 second for every person of that 6 million, you'd have to stand for 190 years. Just to give a perspective. So if we focus on that group and then say, yeah, in order to get away with that, we're going to silence anyone who disagrees. We're going to wear masks. We're going to beat on people's doors at 4 and 5 in the morning. We're going to arrest people. We're going to ask for their papers. We're going to make everyone carry a passport, a picture, and carry their papers with them to make sure they're not Jews or Gypsies or Russians or Poles or in any way have any disability or are seeking medical help. It's all in the record, Joe. I'm not making anything up. That's exactly what Hitler did.
And racial purity, let's not forget that. If you were a real
Right.
German, you were strong, you were a warrior, you were a part of a warrior culture, and the weak needed to be eliminated in order to maintain that purity. Well, let's hope, Rabbi, that history has taught a lesson that we'll never forget, and that, of course, emphasizes the importance of this uh, annual remembrance. So I will do my best to recall it and spread the word. Everybody remember and understand a little bit better the meaning of the words never forget.
And it begins Monday night at sundown, ends Tuesday night at sundown. But because of the nature of this observance, you may find observances on Sunday, on Monday, Tuesday, or even on Wednesday. Unlike some other holidays that are so fixed, this was a time for us to remember what happened when no one stopped Hitler, or when they tried, he had a system for eliminating all the opposition. Let's stay awake and alert, Joe.